Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Code Realize Future Blessings, and we're in Saint Germain's route. This could be the last part. It could be longer. I'm not really sure. Most of the parts go around about 3 hours. Impey's was a little faster, and Van Helsing's was a little bit longer. That could just be due to me stopping and lamenting and having side random conversations, but I don't know. So we probably have about an hour left or so, I would say. Because, yeah, only Impey's was like 2.5 hours, but... Anyway, we'll see. I'm going to guess this is going to be the last part, whether it goes the full hour or not, so we'll figure it out. So we already read this. His love will carry on for us forevermore, guys. A smile more natural than ever before colors Saint Germain's face. Ooh, he gets close. Still holding my hand, he pulls me in closer and whispers softly into my ear. Pray, close your eyes. Prompted by my heartbeat, there's no way I can go against it. As I close my eyes, I can hear the sounds of our surroundings even clearer. The sound of the wind across the surface of the River Thames. The sound of my feet against the ground as I fidget nervously. The sound of rustling cloth from my most beloved person. She's like, what? Cloth. A cool wind gently caresses the top of my hand as the glove on my left hand is removed. Like, all of a sudden, open your eyes. Oh my God, you're naked on a bridge! No, I'm just kidding. Moments later, the sensation of something cold and pleasant. Not on my lip, nor my cheek. Did he put a ring on our finger? Oh my God! Yes, he did. But on my left hand's ring finger. Is it... It's the emerald stone! Oh, guys! That's so beautiful! Oh, he's the only one that's given us an actual fucking ring. What the hell? When I open my eyes, I'm greeted by a gently glistening green upon my finger. That is so beautiful. Oh, Saint Germain. It suits you well, princess. Is this... When Victor said that you should always have the emerald on your person, I consulted him, suggesting that if it's something you would always be wearing, it should be something lovely. Does putting this ring on my finger mean a scene far, far away that I've only seen in the world of novels? A gift from the one whom I love more than anything, anyone. More than anything, anyone. Okay. A bright future that was never supposed to come to the girl who was called a monster. Just so, there is a perfectly good reason as to why it's on this finger. Since ancient times, the ring finger of the left hand was thought to be directly connected to the heart. Thus, is it not the most appropriate place for an implement that prevents your heart from producing toxins? Oh yeah, that! Fuck. Wow, I see. Oh, you seem dissatisfied, my lady. I probably sounded more pouty than I intended after not receiving what I had in mind. Perhaps it's comical scene to Saint Germain, as he can't help but laugh a little. My apologies. His lips touched my ring finger. Perhaps the miraculous brilliance that is known to absorb poison is already beginning to take effect. There's no sensation of his skin burning, and I feel as though the soft warmth of his lips is spreading across my entire body. Did you know that the emerald also represents happiness? And the ring that is offered to the ring finger of the left hand, as you know, represents an everlasting vow. Thus, if I'm to offer a ring to my most dear love, then there is no other finger to choose than this one. Thank you, Saint Germain. It is my pleasure. Saint Germain smiles. Along with his warmth are the words that I've always longed to hear. I love you, Miss Spacey. Ah, I know, right? An everlasting blessing unto you. That's just so randomly strange, but it's Saint Germain. You know this. Oh. Beautiful. He didn't quite ask us to marry him, but I'm just going to say, oh my God! Seriously? His part is shorter than everybody's. I mean, I know we have the after scene, but like, damn, I was not expecting it to end right there. Wow. I was not expecting his part to be like barely 2 hours. I mean, it was about 2 hours. I'm really curious about the after scene. I don't know, I'm just like letting my mind like wander right now. I am curious about the after scene. I wonder if that'll be a wedding. You know, probably will be, because we're only just gonna not marry fucking Van Helsing. Because what the fuck? I mean, he just wants to play hard to get. But you know what sucks though? Like, because he put the ring on her finger or whatever, but we never actually shared I mean, we did share a kiss in the first one, but we never got the, like, poisonless kiss in this one. I feel like they didn't... I feel like this one could have had a little bit more. You know what I mean? Could have had a little bit more. I mean, I'm glad there wasn't a lot of drama or anything like that, like, because we had the searching, you know, the drama with Lupin was great though. But I do just feel like... I mean, we got what we needed. We got rid of our poison. Like, that'll get rid of our poison, you know? But it's still, I just feel like, I don't know. I can't believe they did Saint Germain like that. Like, I mean, I'm a little bit, because his part is the shortest, but also, I mean, we got a little dicked over in Van Helsing where we didn't get to marry him. So, like... If we don't get to marry Saint Germain in this part, it's going to be a little disappointing too. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why they got to do that? And, like, Victor, we did a fake wedding. I guess it counts, but it wasn't a real wedding. So the only person so far we've gotten to marry, obviously Lupin, because we married him in the last game, but was, like, Impey. Well, what the hell's the deal? So, like, all my top guys, I don't get to marry them? Like, I mean, come on. Victor's wasn't legal. As cute as it wasn't legal, dude. Still. Anyway. The blue sea spreads across my view. The hull of the ship rocks like a cradle, and the sound of the waves tickle my ears. I let the comfortable bobbing rock me as we continue our journey. I place my elbow on the side of the ship beside Saint Germain as I stare out upon the surface of the water where we fish hop. You know, that trip to Egypt a while back was really amazing. I never expected I'd get trapped in a pyramid before and we'd have to figure out a way to escape. Quite an unexpected misadventure it became. Even I was at a loss when I stepped into the trap and a colossal boulder began rolling towards me. Indiana fucking Jones, right? Like, I'd rather not be reminded of that part. I shake my head to drive off the memories and look toward my left hand. My rosy left hand that I haven't been hiding with the glove any longer. Ever since Victor developed the medicine that alters the qualities of the horologium, the poison had gradually begun to dissipate due to the synergetic effects of the emerald ring and medicine. Beginning from my left hand's fingertips, the detoxification had spread to my torso and face. Almost half of my body is already able to touch objects now. According to Victor's diagnosis, by our journey's end, the toxin should be completely nullified. Touching the ship with my fingertips, I let out a sigh of relief. That's really weird. You can kind of half kiss, I mean, your head, but you can't, like, your other side. Like, don't touch him with my right hand. That's got to be weird. He's like, I can kiss you, but I can't even do anything else because half your body is still toxic. This is fucking crazy. Oh, what's the matter? Nothing. I was just wondering which country we were visiting next. That's right. We no longer needed to worry about the toxin, and I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't thinking about peaceful days in London. But in the end, even now, we continue to travel all around the world. To the land of deserts where hidden treasures slumber, to the frozen lands of the north, icebound the whole year around, to the isolated island nations of the east that only recently began opening its ports due to foreign pressure. There's still so many places to go. Traveling to every one of these countries, I only thirsted for more of what Saint Germain experienced in his long, long lifetime. When we got on the boat, I believe they were saying that they were headed towards Asia first by sea route. Just so. Afterwards, I would like to cross the Pacific and head toward America. After all, I did receive a letter from Impey there, who claims he's almost done with the prototype ship to reach the moon. That's right. I'll have to bring a souvenir for Impey since he's been working so hard. Though Impey is hardly the only one who's been working hard. According to their letter, Van Helsing and Delhi are finally establishing an autonomous region in Ireland for vampires. Delhi will finally be able to call himself a king both in name and reality. He'd already gotten taller when I saw him a while back. It probably won't be long before he's taller than me. When that happens, I don't think I'll be able to call him Delhi anymore. Mr. Drac, then? Other than that, Victor continued his medicinal practice in London and has attracted many apprentices and will soon establish a doctor association. Ah, yes, it seems that Spacey lives with Victor and now has a wife and children of its own. Spacey does, or Victor does? Oh, okay. Spacey has a wife and children. So Spacey has puppies. Aww! I was like, Victor has a wife and children of his own. No, they were never allowed to marry anyone else. That's just wrong. I'm like, no, I don't like that. I know we're with Saint Germain, but they're our boys. They will always be our boys. They can't touch anyone else. They're ours. It's like, I hear they are newborns at the peak of their spherical adorableness and quite the handful. I'm jealous. I'll make sure to see them the moment I get back to London. As I swore this to myself, I suddenly tilt my head to the side. Oh, but we get letters from everyone regularly. But I feel like it's been a while since we've heard from Lupin. You need only look at this. Saint Germain smiles and tosses a newspaper to me that he apparently had bought before the departure. I suppose it was written in the local language there, in letters I can't read, but sure enough, pictured on the front page is a silhouette that I recognize well. Gentleman thief Arsène Lupin exposes dictatorship scandal, seizes mold plate from counterfeit note factory. Officials have raised the reward for the capture of the gentleman thief. Or so it seems, so I am sure he's well. I'm glad that he seems to be doing well. He's so jealous of us that he won't even write to us. But is it really a good thing, reputation-wise, for the gentleman thief to be a smashing success? I smile back at the picture of him that grins behind the mask. Well, I'm glad that everyone's well and walking their own paths. And in the midst of it, here we are wandering about like always. It's almost like we're living a life of retirement. Rather that, almost. I think we really are retiring from the active life. Then suddenly, Saint Germain directs his eyes across the ocean. In any event, we'll be on the sea for a while longer. We're in no kind of hurry. It might be rather nice to stop around various countries along the way. Then I'd like to see the hometown where you were born. Mine, you say? Right, if I recall correctly, it was somewhere in West Asia. Let's see. It is a hometown I hardly remember any longer. But if it is with you, then perhaps a homecoming after such a long time away would not be such a bad thing. His eyes narrow with nostalgia, and he begins to speak with a deeper smile. Besides, this might be the perfect opportunity for a break. After visiting my hometown and having completed our journey, your poison will be entirely gone when we return to London. And there, let us hold our wedding. It'd be a lie if I said that the thought had never crossed my mind. So we're going to get the promise of a wedding, but not an actual wedding. The fuck? Ever since receiving this ring from Saint Germain, the seeds were sown beneath my chest. But hearing this straight from his own mouth, my cheeks are burning and only grow warmer. If that is decided, then we must decide upon the attendees. Off the top of my head, that's 10, 20 people. What? Are you planning on inviting more than just Lupin and the others? If I could think of any others, perhaps Sholmes and Lionheart. Surely he wouldn't invite Victoria, Queen of Britain. But with his usual smile, Saint Germain continues. Just so, since it will be a momentous occasion. Omnibus and Guinevere, let us call out to the rest of the apostles. What? Are you serious? Of course. Although the one I'd have wanted to invite the most is no longer there. Before Saint Germain's line of sight that he conceals slightly, my ring glistens brightly. I can read his expression and a certain name emerges from my mouth. Do you mean Triscuits? Just so, though it is rather moot to consider the prospect. I'd like to know just what kind of a person Saint Germain's old friend was. What kind of conversations did they have? And what kind of smiles did he show? So, though his is a bitter past, I'll ask him, what kind of person was he? Just as I explained before. Egotistical, unrestrained. He would never explain anything thoroughly. It would never tell me of the important matters. But even so, he was a dear friend who showed me the path. I see. Then I should thank him too. Raising the ring on my finger to the sunlight, I put it gently against my cheek. I close my eyes, already having decided on my words. Thank you, Triscuits. You're fucking delicious. Miss Spacey, why do you... It's only natural that I offer my thanks. He's your friend after all, and he was the one who drew us together, I'm sure of it. If that is so, Saint Germain reaches his hand towards me. Yay! CG. Oh, we're going to get another CG before it ends, but he entangles his fingers with mine and tugs me in as if to dance, and smiles while holding me in his arms. Then not just to Triscuits in the afterlife, but to Omnibus and Guinevere and the other apostles. Here we go. Aww. Look, he's got a slight little blush. It's cute. Oh. Let us boast to our heart's content beneath this brilliant sun. The woman I love is far from anything like a calamity. She's a woman capable of such a beautiful, kind, delightful smile. Oh, yay! The feeling of his soft lips pressed against mine. The poison should have already left my lips, but the heat feels like it's going to burn all the way up to my brain itself. Is he even with our lips together, I can feel Saint Germain smiling happily. In a sense, perhaps he has a poison far more cruel than that of the horologium. A sweet, wild poison that makes me love him more and more. My happiness, my desires, my hope that I gave up thousands of years ago, are now here with you. To touch you like this and to tell you of my feelings. To be able to be happy together with you makes me truly more happy than anything. I feel the same way about you, because you're my reason to live and my happiness. Truly, you continue to say things only for you. Aww! Yay! Close your eyes, girl. A kiss once more. Without resisting, I simply accept his warmth. Saint Germain doesn't go against my will and harm himself. He's careful to avoid parts with poison remaining. But instead, many dozens of kisses on the parts that he can safely touch. Happily, he truly kisses me happily. The poison is not completely gone yet, but from here on, the places in which I can kiss you will only increase. I cannot help but be excited. Wow. The person I love is smiling. A most wonderful smile, more brilliant than any he's shown me before. I'm sure this will sound like one of Lupin's lines, but when the last drop of your poison is no longer, I shall take all of you for myself. Wow. Woo! Just got steamy in here. Oh, it's a little hot in here. As we pull our lips together again and again, I think to myself, when we finish our voyage, when the poison is gone and the day we can return to London and hold the ceremony, I'm certain that it won't be far from now. A future that our hands will soon hold. For it's the future that awaits us both, a future in our own making, of future blessings. Oh my God, she didn't say it! She didn't say future blessings. They've said it in every other path. The hell? Damn, man. All right, so I guess we're going into Lupin's path right now. So yeah, I'm a little sad that his was really short, but oh, you know what we should do right now, because we didn't do this. We didn't do it. We'll do it at the end of everybody's, but we didn't look at, like, I wish you knew instead of like doing that, like what the differences were. We didn't actually look through all of Van Helsing's at the end of his because we went right into Impey's part. So we didn't really get to like kind of skip through. Oh, that one's still. And then we'll look through. We didn't actually look through really any of them, but like we'll go back through. I love that. Like Impey looks so cute there. He's like Van Helsing's like, God damn it. And he's like, you're being stupid. I love that. Oh, that's still beautiful. I still love that. Because her face is adorable. She doesn't have the giant goddamn creepy eyes. Like, okay, we're back at that one. Because we got to see the other ones and like we paused on at the end, but we didn't do that. That's still so beautiful. Look at he's like all, oh, that's the, like, oh. We won't skip through all the different, oh, whoops. He's like, ha ha ha. I like that he's winking. He's like, eh. There you go. That's the perfect, like, the right side, well, our right, his left, is like the perfect, like, everybody else gets to see this, and then the left, we get to see this. That's both sides of Saint Germain, and I don't know, him winking is just fucking adorable. I love it. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like so happily like, I'm gonna kiss you. Oh. I still love that scene. I really do. Because he's like, what the fuck? Like, you've never seen Saint Germain's face, like, pained. Like, I mean, yes, the slight, but like, and like, obviously when he was like begging for our life and everything like that, but like, just Lupin getting angry and violent with him, it's like, oh, wow. Ha! Lupin's a little jealous. Aww. Oh, there you go, guys. You could just end it like this for like an hour. Oh, just pretend that's your hand, guys. Just stick your arm out and pretend that's your Spacey shouldn't play these games. Oh my god. Oh. Kiss. Yeah, it's really just the same one over and over again. Like, we're gonna get a lot for that. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah. Cute. Because you can't... Yeah, it doesn't... That's what I hate. Like, it doesn't, like, go back. You can't go back and forth. I really wish when you hit, like, show difference, and you hit the X again, it wouldn't click back out. You know what I mean? Like, back should be back. This should not exit out. I don't like that, but anyway. So right now we're going to go into Lupin's path because we still have about, like, 40 minutes. So I'm going to guess... I'm going to just make the giant leap and guess that all the other paths are roughly... Well, Saint Germain's was, like... What, 2? Not even 2.5 hours with my rambling. And same with Impey. Everybody else's was about 3. Van Helsing's was about 3.5, so it was a little over. But, like, the average of 2.5 to 3 hours, right? I'm going to guess Lupin's is going to be a little bit longer. So we'll see. Because, like, right now we're about to get into it. We'll have a little bit over a half hour. And we'll see. But I'm going to guess his is going to be maybe 4 hours. I can't imagine his being shorter than anybody else's because it's Lupin. I mean, we got more of Van Helsing CGs. We got 1 extra, and it was just obviously a variation. You get the same amount of CGs, it's just the variations differ. But anyway, here we go. Yes, we do want to continue Lupin. Here we go, guys. The last of them. That was the night. The night I stole the heart of a girl desperate to know what it was to be loved. She bore a gem imbued with poison so toxic it could wither flowers, even kill men. I found her alone in shadow, knees drawn up to her chin, insisting she was a monster. Not really, though, you didn't, but the girl betrayed not the hint of a smile. Her doll's face was immaculate and empty. You didn't find her, though. You stole her from that. You didn't see this. So devoid were her eyes of emotion, they might have been wrought of glass. It was as though she buried all feeling deep within the gem bonded to her chest. I want to touch you. I want to feel you, your warmth. As I offered her my hand that night, she offered me these poignant words. Such a basic, fundamental need. No human should ever be denied it. Yet so steeped in poison was she, it would remain forever beyond her reach. And so I swore to myself I would grant her wish, no matter what the cost. And in this path, we already don't have poison, so. Also in Victor's, but... Oh, it was that simple. This was a sight I simply could not stand. As a gentleman thief, as a man, I was determined this elegant woman would not end her days as an abandoned plaything. My mind was made up. A life spent in misery, devoid of love. Never to share the warmth of another. You know what? Stop talking about me. I'm sitting right here. Don't make me feel bad about my life, Lupin. Jesus. I would relieve these burdens, just as I relieve evil men of their ill-gotten gains. My honor as Arsène Lupin, gentleman thief extraordinaire, demanded it. That is so beautiful. I still love it. Spacey, I'm going to grant your wish now. Our bodies intertwined, and she came to know warmth. Our lips met, and she came to know love. He's so... I love it, because it's true, but, like, when you're talking about, like... If he was a narrator, like, their bodies intertwined and she came to know love. But he's like, our lips met and she knew love. Like, oh my god, Lupin, you're so full of yourself. I love it. It's ridiculous. The poison doll, knees clutched tight like a barrier against the world, was gone. Here now, in her place, stands no monster. For she's the finest treasure on earth, the one I hold most dear. Still beautiful. I love you, Lupin. That's why we do Lupin last. Morning light dances on my closed lids. The sun was warm and bright. Echoing birdsong heralded the arrival of another new day. Mm. Lifting slowly out of bed, I quietly massaged the haze of sleep from my eyes. What time did I fall asleep last night? Snoring. I remember taking tea with Lupin, sharing conversation in our room, sleeping. And then he kissed me so fondly. Shaking off the remnants of half-remembered dreams, I look about the room to find snort. My gaze lights upon Lupin, his soft, steady breathing making it clear he's still asleep. His serene, almost vulnerable visage was quite at odds with his waking demeanor. So precious. Words that would earn me more than a stern look had Lupin been awake came unbidden. Tenderly caressing the wild tangle of his sleep-tousled hair, I sat up in silence. Only a few days had passed since our wedding, a wish I never dared dream might actually come true. In time, we hoped to find our own home, a place the two of us might share our lives together. But for the moment, we continue to rely on the kindness of Saint Germain, boarding at his opulent mansion. Sometimes I feel so happy, I can't help but wonder if this is all a dream. I smile down at Lupin and can't help but see my own chest as I do. Only 6 short months ago, my body was tainted by the most deadly of poisons. It had been generated by my artificial heart, the horologium, glittering a frigid blue. Although the gem remained, no longer did it shine a piercing deadly azure. I was like, okay. This morning it sparkled in the newly risen sun, reflecting and refracting a pure white light like a wedding dress. Regarding myself in the bedside mirror, I extend a hand toward my reflection. Lightly tracing the image of my cheeks with a fingertip, I touch the wooden frame. I allow my hand to linger with some trepidation, applying more pressure. Thank goodness, it's not melting. An undeniable fact. I sigh in relief. Just then, thank goodness for what? What? Oh, yeah, I knew the scene was coming up soon. Like, this is the one that is on the back of the cart thing, and it's really small, and you're like, it's on the back of the. Yeah, and you're like, oh, well, hello. Her little sleep dress there, which is extremely. How do you sleep in that? Seriously, without your boobs falling out? I just can't. But also, that is 100%. That looks very similar to the wedding dress she tried on in the Van Helsing bath. It is like the cutest fucking sleepy dress. Like I would wear that as a normal dress. I'm just not even kidding. But his hands were quicker than the eye. Yeah, hi. Jesus, Lupin. Don't put some clothes on. Gently, he draws me into his embrace. In the space of a single breath, I'm enveloped in Lupin's warmth. Lupin, you are awake? Yeah, I am now. Yeah, I bet he is. Guys, we don't need to. Implied is okay. Implied is okay. I can't handle the real thing. I'll freak out. Spacey will just. Woo! Fainting couch. Really? Can you afford to ignore the dashing rogue beside you? If you must touch something, touch me. Okay. But if there's any poison left in me, a bit late for that. I'm fairly sure we spent the entire night together. I'm fairly sure after your wedding night you've done some things that you would have noticed if there was poison in your body still. I'm just saying. Yes, but even now my fears refuse to abate. Last night passed without incident. But what about today? And if nothing happens today, what about tomorrow? Concern must have shown on my face. Lupin chuckled softly at this, eyes agleam. Spare me that look of yours, and pray permit this lowly burglar masquerading as a gentleman to assuage his princess's concerns. Lupin gently brushes his lips against my cheek, the hint of a smile flitting about the corners of his mouth. Feigning worry, his kisses tentatively glide along my face, dance across my ears, and come to rest at the nape of my neck. The master thief makes me shudder, teasing with the lightest of kisses, a peck here, a nibble there. Lupin's eyes twinkle with mischief. Feeling at once feverish and lightheaded, it's all I can do to resist his advances. Why would you resist? Yes, please though resist, because otherwise I'm gonna have to read that and that's gonna be awkward. See, all that melts now is my heart. Really, Lupin? He simply looks at me, wearing the mirthful grin that was his default expression. Flustered and ticklish, I find that my tongue has caught on my throat. Lupin's wry, ever-present smile remained, almost frustrating in its deliberate calm. Uh-oh, you've gone red as a beet. That's just what happens when a girl gets ambushed with kisses, especially when you're doing the ambushing. Yeah, but hopefully no other girl is getting ambushed with his kisses, because that would be wrong. As we touch, love radiates from his skin like a furnace, warming me to the core. Arsène Lupin, dashing gentleman thief, the man who granted my wish. My desire to be by his side has only grown more profound since we wed. What felt like a goal was in fact only the beginning. But Lupin, you know very well we always end up sleeping together. Can't you just stay in my room? Skulking in like a thief at ungodly hours. Waking up to see you looming over me. It can't be good for my heart. Oh, I'd be open to sharing a bedroom, but where's the adventure in that? Lest you forget, dear Spacey, I'm a thief and a gentleman. Arsène Lupin. Dude, you're married now. Share a fucking room. Stop. Your sweet sleeping face, your startled look as you wake, all part of the finest treasure ever plundered. I mean, he's trying to give you a heart attack. He just stares over and you just wake up. Ah, what the fuck, again? Every night. You're in here every night and you scare the fuck out of me every night. One of these nights I'm not going to be scared and it's going to be like a murderer. Like, the fact I'm able to slip in unaware and pilfer such riches seals my reputation as the most dashing of gentlemen thieves. Oh my god, he's such a cat. Sneaking into a lady's bedchamber? Hardly conduct becoming a gentleman. Despite his japes, Lupin is right about one thing. The nightly prospect of spontaneous visits sets my heart aflutter. Oh. Sometimes I stay awake, waiting in vain for a man who never comes. Some mornings I wake to discover his lips met mine as I slept. I swear to myself I'll put a stop to his shenanigans someday. Shenanigans. Yet never seem to be able to. I suppose I'm a fool in love. Anyway, I really have to get up now. I'm making breakfast today, and... You're not going anywhere. Lupin? You're daft if you think I'm letting you near another man. You're mine, Spacey. You're not awake yet, are you? Wide awake, wide awake. So come now. 5 minutes is all I ask. Oh, it only takes you 5 minutes, really? He caressed my hair, whispering sweet nothings. The soothing rhythms of his voice, the expert touch of his dexterous hands, oh dear God. I felt my eyelids growing heavy. Here was the man who stole my heart. The man who granted my greatest wish. I love that this 90% of the game is just this fucking CG. I was a monster, yet he gave me purpose, brought me happiness, and proved that love is real. There's no use denying it. My heart has belonged to Lupin ever since that day, that moment. The heat of his embrace brings me out of my reverie. She gets in reveries a lot. So warm, so comforting. Staying a little longer couldn't hurt. The end. Okay. When I woke for the second time that day, the sun already hung high in the sky. Lupin's continued pleas for 5 more minutes were tempting, but I finally managed to extricate myself. Lupin went back to his own room to change. Arsène Lupin, after. I want to touch you. The gentleman thief who fulfilled the wish of the girl with the deadly poison and prevented Code Realize. He now begins to walk the future path with her at Saint Germain's mansion. Still a bit lightheaded, I exchanged my own garments and stepped out into the hall. I was meant to have risen much earlier to help prepare breakfast for the household, but when Lupin sets his mind on something, he gets it. I'm powerless to resist. Tomorrow he'll finally get what's coming to him. You can put up a fight, girl! No, you can't. Only then did I notice Saint Germain at the far end of the hallway. I must have looked a fool, mumbling and shaking my fist. Good morning, Saint Germain. I'm afraid our good morning has come and gone, but it's a lovely afternoon, Miss Spacey. We quite missed you at breakfast. I was just on my way to rouse you. I beg your pardon, I overslept a bit? I flushed, no longer able to meet Saint Germain's intense stare. Saint Germain, what are you looking at? Did the sheets leave marks on my face? No, but now that you mention it, I believe I do see lip marks. What? I hide my cheeks reflexively. Saint Germain only smiles, seeming to enjoy a private joke as I scrub at my face. Merely a jest. And not a very funny one. True, but if I were to hazard a guess, perhaps my jest held a kernel of truth. I mean, they're married. They're allowed to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however often they want, as much as they want with each other. I'm just saying. I haven't the foggiest about what's going on, but I would never put such things past Lupin. Neither would I. It would be the first time he'd managed to steal into my room and kiss me unaware. Oh, it wouldn't be. That would be awful. I'd be mortified if I left my room without noticing. Saint Germain laughed aloud at this. I must have sounded sulky. Let's all just laugh at the silly girl. Oh, I do apologize. It simply struck me that many young women would be glad to have your problem. I do keep my blessings counted, but I am a complete pushover when it comes to Lupin, and that worries me. Oh, does it now? The two of you seem to get along famously. I suppose, but I've never been able to stand up to him. I'm just not ready for some of the things he wants. Like this morning, for example. Lupin dragged me back into bed even though he knew I had chores to attend to. The memory is still very fresh. I see no great harm in it. You might even take it as proof that he genuinely cares for you. I know he does, but I feel a bit out of sorts. What worries me is letting him have so much control. That's the issue. I can't say I entirely dislike it, but it can be a bother. No, bother might not be the right word. Frustration, perhaps. In other words, just being loved isn't enough. Yes, I seem to be the only one this happy to be loved. Something doesn't sit right with me about it. It's too one-sided. Some relationship dynamics do function that way, but... So Saint Germain was jealous that we might leave him for someone else. Impe was perfectly fine, and Victor was perfectly fine. Van Helsing was just so insecure in himself, and apparently Lupin's insecure in himself? Or just way too fucking cocky, I don't know. Saint Germain folds his arms, lost in thought. At length, he seems to find the right words. If Lupin exercising all the control is a bother, why not see how he fancies a taste of his own medicine? Me? Go against Lupin? The thought of defying him was utterly alien. I couldn't begin to imagine it. He's like, and then when you do, and you get divorced, I'll just sweep it and take you. Oh, the rivalry. As I stand there considering Saint Germain's face splits into a mischievous grin. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You always say Lupin stole your heart. But have you ever given thought to stealing his in return? Yes, Spacey, put on some sexy lingerie and rock his goddamn world. Steal Lupin's heart? Saint Germain's exact words. He thinks it's the perfect opportunity to give Lupin a taste of his own medicine. Victor had come for my checkup, arriving while the brightest sunlight of the day still flooded the drawing room. Even after his return to the Royal Society, Victor still calls regularly at the mansion to monitor my physical condition. I'm thankful, and it means a lot to me. Lovely! Everything's looking tip-top. The horologium is stable, and your physical results paint the picture of health. I'm glad. Thank you, Victor. Pleasure is always mine. Now, this little situation you were going on about earlier, however did it come to that? Well, I fill Victor in on all that's happened. My story made him blush and fidget. Even so, he seemed to be giving my predicament serious thought. He's like, oh God. I see. So in essence, the Count is suggesting you devise a plan to make Lupin fall even harder for you? I think that's what he meant. The more I ponder Lupin, the more convinced I am that Saint Germain had it right. I still can't be near him without my heart galloping like a racehorse. But the master thief himself? Cool as winter frost. Not fair no matter how I try to justify things. Worst of all, it just stings. I swore an oath on our wedding date to win his heart over completely. Now I'm worried I may never be able to keep it. So yes, it stings. I want to make Lupin come over all red. See how he likes it. I ball my hands into fists without even realizing it. I'm serious. Sexy lingerie, rock his world, because he's not expecting that. I could count on one hand the number of times I'd been this dead set on something. But then... Am I missing something? Saint Germain acted the same way. Sorry. How do I phrase this? Your issue with Lupin, it's so cute. Cute? It's quite a girlish concern. You've become a perfectly normal girl with perfectly normal relationship issues. Me? A perfectly normal girl? Fretting and worrying like this is normal? Like, it sucks, right? I'm glad to hear it, but... No, I mustn't get sidetracked. Normal or not, this is a concern. All well and good, but I still have no idea what to do. We're talking about Lupin. Getting him to care even more for me? I'd have better chances turning lead to gold. Perhaps. I'm not exactly the world's leading expert on romance. That's not true. You're really good at it. You're just so gentle and wonderful, and like nothing was ever wrong with you. Don't look so glum, Spacey. I'll put some thought into it and see if the others have any ideas. Are you sure? Oh, this is nothing, especially when your happiness is concerned. Thank you, Victor. Let me know if inspiration strikes. I'll try to come up with a few different approaches myself. I feel that much more confident with one more person on my side. Yeah, Van Helsing, what do I do? And he's going to be like, whisper to you, and you're going to be like, I have to what now? Trust me, it'll work on anybody. Even on you, and he starts to blush. Oh my God, yes. And so I begin to ponder my next move with renewed determination. Actually, you should ask Impey because he's the dirty-minded one, and he'll know all he'll be like, okay, so what you do? And then you can put your leg here, and then you got to do that, and then you get the roller skates, and what? What? Impey make everybody blush. Transparent swimwear. Buckingham Palace courtyard on the eve of the same day. Delacroix II and Van Helsing paused to catch their breath after ushering members of the nobility from the palace. Right, that covers the lot. Phew, my neck is stiff as a board. I shall never get used to these meetings and summits. No need to fret so. You acquitted yourself well. You could have mistaken the nobles for proud grandfathers wondering at the talents of their precocious grandson. And that surprises you? Perhaps you forget, but I am of the proud vampire Hold there! You damn me with faint praise! I was deadly serious. Were you now? You never have been the best at delivering compliments. And again, not so long ago, your paying me any sort of regard was something I could not have imagined. I have no doubt. The odd pair notice a shadow near the entry gate, and their awkward laughter quickly dies out. As the figure approaches, the two exchange a glance. It's someone they know well. I'm assuming it's Lupin. Oh, it's Victor. Is that Victor? Victor stands there and waits, and he sees him, and then he goes, Are you looking at me now? I'm going to run over. Van Helsing! Dilly! Thank goodness! It would seem I made it. Oh, do my eyes deceive? Victor! We haven't seen you since the wedding. What brings you here gasping for air? I assume this is a dire emergency. No, I was told you two would be visiting the palace. I hoped I might run into you. But what brings you here? Business of some sorts? Indeed. It would appear our haggling with the British government regarding the vampire protection policy is panning out. I wouldn't venture so far as panning out quite yet, but we are making progress in shifting High Council opinion. Really? That's wonderful. So things are moving forward as planned. We would be dead in the water if not for the Marquis Renfield. His lordship happens to be pro-vampire. Him and, Delacroix glances at Van Helsing and just as quickly turns away. I must also acknowledge Van Helsing. He personally testified about the truth of the vampire war. It swayed many a noble. Van Helsing, you chose to speak of the vampire war? I was honor-bound to do so. I freely offered my assistance. Any beneficial information I'm privy to will be heard. Of course, Victor was not privy to all that had transpired in Van Helsing's past. It was clear from the man's demeanor that he was haunted by his history. Victor could not guess at the horrors that Van Helsing had known. And yet, the erstwhile vampire hunter had offered up details he had never before spoken aloud, let alone in a court of law. Victor realized then that something inside his friend had fundamentally changed. I see. Then I can't back away from this either. Dilly, if I can be of service, just say the word. I have my own history with the war. I'll do whatever I can. You have my thanks. I will call upon you when the time is right. Delacroix II's grin was as boyish as ever, but the air of growing maturity about him was unmistakable. Van Helsing remained silent, jaw set in an implacable line. He may or may not have given Victor a nod. It was hard to be sure. Incidentally, are you two pressed for time? Not especially. What's afoot? The thing is... Victor's eyes darted about, ensuring no potential eavesdroppers could overhear. If what he was about to say reached the ears of someone like Lionheart, it would draw unwanted attention indeed. What? Marital strife rears its ugly face. Calm down. Nothing Victor told us points to any sort of quarrel. No, I suppose not. It's sort of a first love problem. More cute than it is serious. She wants to level the relationship out, shift the sole spotlight away from Lupin. I mean, who would? I mean, he really does. He's very much like, I'm the gentleman thief and I stole your heart and you adore me and everyone adores me. We're gonna make you cave and beg. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. What say you, Van Helsing? You ask me of all people? Van Helsing shrugs indifferently and continues in a terribly measured tone. He's like, look, I'm not giving it to her. I don't care if Lupin doesn't ever get to. If the situation is anything less than dire, leave well enough alone. You mollycoddle her half to death. Oh, well, it's hard to argue when you put it so bluntly, but... their happiness is our own. Have some heart, you callous, friendless blackguard. It's none of my concern. There are others better suited to this. Leave me out of your meddling. Fine. Be that way. I should have known better than to expect anything from Sir War Hero. I would ask the Count, or even Impey before he stoops so low as to involve the likes of you. Come again? Van Helsing narrows his eyes, staring daggers. This defies logic. I won't speak ill of Saint Germain, but you would place Impey above me? I think what he's trying to... Pish posh, Victor. Let the antisocial twit stew in his misery, forever unable to grasp the delicate mysteries of courtship. I fucking love Atelius fucking raking him through the coals. Oh, how's that salt in that wound? Oh, that burn must hurt. Oh, he's like a slow one. Very well. You want Lupin to end up as infatuated of his bride, yes? Uh-oh. Van Helsing has his whatever the cost look. It was clear Van Helsing could not abide being compared to the laissez-faire Impey. Satisfied, he draws the corners of his mouth up into a smile. A smile so cold it could give a man frostbite in midsummer. I love Van Helsing so much. Oh, and I suppose you have some sort of brilliant scheme in mind, Van Helsing. It has long been said the bonds between man and woman deepen when faced with an obstacle they must overcome together. I can attest to this. I had comrades in arms whose bonds were forged in the fires of war and never faded. Truly? Can it be that simple? You know, I think Van Helsing may be onto something. I'm reminded of a scholarly thesis I read not long ago. It posited a theory that trauma-induced duress most closely resembles the mental process associated with romantic love. Some men of letters went so far as to suggest one could bolster the other, perhaps even induce it. So we all try to steal me away. Oh! Empirical conclusions have yet to be put before the wider academic community, but it makes an odd sort of sense, doesn't it? Oh my god, nerd. I love you so much, Victor. Meaning what exactly? Explain it as you would to a king, or someone who is not a fucking genius. Like the rest of us. Explain it to someone in, like, normal people to speak. Well, does a royal heart not beat with equal speed when confronted by an enemy, or in the presence of a winsome damsel? Aha! After groaning throughout Victor's abstract ramble, the young king punctuates this new understanding with a clap of his hands. Short version, we get their hearts pumping even if I have to invoke the droit divin? Whatever. I don't know what that is. Stop speaking French or Latin, people. Jesus. Stop speaking foreign languages that I don't know. You weren't wrong, but you're not quite right either. We rarely ever get this, like, Van Helsing. The extreme Van Helsing. This is, like, only the second time. Like, only in this game. I understand. If that's our plan, leave this to me. I do have a brilliant scheme. I do too, obviously. What, really? You two are I'm thinking we go with a wild animal, preferably rabid. We go with wild, and he's like, and for the coup de grace, a black powder explosion, yes. Time out! I don't think either of you quite get this. Oh, ye of little faith. We get it perfectly. To arms! To arms! Lupin and his bride await! Oh, Jesus. Now in good spirits, Van Helsing and Delacroix II stride off merrily. In a very different mood, Victor rushes to follow, worry gnawing at the pit of his stomach. The shenanigan music is the greatest. That's my favorite part of this game. Because like it's always something that's like and it's always like high shenanigan music. Later that night, I sat fretting in my room. By this hour, I should have been snug in a nightgown, but my racing mind kept me wide awake. Earlier in the day, I had boldly declared my intentions to consider new approaches, and so I was, revisiting ideas endlessly. Surprise him with sneak attack hugs, prepare a home cooked feast, scare him out of his wits with a shout, trying a whole new ensemble. I go round and round in circles, but the key to stealing Lupin's heart remains as elusive as ever. Dead ends, however, I find in abundance. How does Lupin make it seem so effortless? How can he set my heart pounding without even lifting a finger? It's just not fair. I grumble inside, glancing at the clock. Lock your door. There's no rhyme or reason to what hour Lupin chooses to come calling. Sometimes he comes while I'm still awake. Sometimes he slips stealthily beneath my covers long after I've retired. And it's that, you know what I mean? Like, he's got the upper hand. It's like, no, I just come in when I want. Instead of like, you were like, I want you to just share a room with me. No. That's how he keeps the upper hand. But he's going to then be like, he's going to cave. We're going to do whatever we do, and it's going to make him cave and crawl it, like, and stay with us. We're going to tame this puppy. But if it is to be an early call tonight, this would be the hour he comes sauntering in. So I may not be able to fluster him or make his heart rumble like a steam engine. He will not be getting his way tonight. I'll get some good sleep, wake up early, get everything in order, and cook a proper breakfast. But then, having decided on my course of action, he just waltzes in. Lupin, tonight isn't going to... Silent as a church mouse, Lupin closes the door behind him and wordlessly places an index finger against my protesting lips. Shh, no talk. That's all it took. In half a heartbeat, my stoic commitment melted away, Lupin's gentle touch freezing me where I stood. I swore I wouldn't let him take things so quickly. Hardly able to stand the thrum of my own heart pulsing throughout my body, I could do nothing but wait for his next move. That's when you should lock your door, but he'd pick the lock, But Lupin's usual lusty grin was nowhere to be seen. His face a portrait of intensely focused awareness. Is something, amiss? Someone in the courtyard. It's not Saint Germain. There are a few of them. Who are they? Can't say, but I doubt they're on the guest list. These blokes are being very cautious. I don't think they mean well. How can anyone get inside the mansion walls with you and Saint Germain here, let alone a group of them? My rapid pulse undergoes an unexpected key change. Melody becomes dissonance. There's a few of them. Yeah, it's... This is not going to go well. Oh, God. Pop quiz, star student. Do we remember how to handle situations like this? They can't know we're onto them yet. We leverage that advantage. Make sure we know exactly what we're dealing with. Other ideas do come to mind, but whatever our next move, know thy enemy. Précisément. Something like that. I know it's like precisely in French, but I don't know how to... I can't read French. He needs to stab it with a... They need to stab it with the fucking French. You remember how to minimize visibility and dampen your footsteps, yes? We minimized, we dampened, and approached the bedroom window. Pressed flat against the walls to conceal our shadows from intruders below, we peer into the courtyard. Darkness infested the garden's perimeter, dancing hither and yon as if to escape the gas lamp's glare. Familiar sensations absent for half a year come rushing back. A harsh crackling in the air portends a battle soon to unfold. Squinting at the impenetrable blackness, I will myself to remember my training. You know what it is? So he got angry at Saint Germain and was like, I'm going to take her away, and that's what they should have done. That's what I was expecting them to be like. Well, someone's just got to, like, try to take her away from Lupin, and then he's going to lose his shit because he can't stand the thought of losing her. All I'm saying. Yeah, someone else has to woo me. Sweep me off my feet. Try to steal me from Lupin. It should have been Van Helsing just because then they would have gotten a bro fight and he would have been like, dude, I'm just making sure you love her. Like, oh, bro hug. Oh, we're besties still. And then we could have had the bro hug. I just want the bro hug, goddammit. See them yet? See them yet? I can't. I lost it. I can't do his voice right there. I don't know. Almost. I'm getting there. As my eyes adjust, shapes darker than the surrounding gloom fades gradually into view. Two of them. They are artfully concealed within the sea of shadows. Two silhouettes of surpassing strangeness. It's literally Van Helsing. It can't be Van Helsing and Delhi, though. They're the same height, but that's who it's supposed to be. I don't know. Bizarre masked figures in half cloaks, beaks jutting forth like birds of prey. They dressed like Twilight. There was no mistaking these men. We had faced many of their ilk, agents of the organization that tried to capture me, to kill me. Yeah, but I think it's not. I don't think it's real Twilight agents. Agents of Twilight, a special task force within the government of the United Kingdom, specializing in intelligence, espionage, and worse. 6 months ago, Twilight instigated a failed coup d'etat masterminded by their leader, Finis. Finis, the technical advisor of the British military and the leader of Twilight, the British Special Intelligence Agency. He is also the younger brother of the heroine, but then they called them twins. So is he a younger brother? Is he twins? I don't fucking know. Like, they keep changing it. He could be the younger twin brother, like he was born. But the thing is, he's not really. In the actual children, were they twins or is the brother younger? I would assume. I thought he was supposed to be younger, but they at one point mentioned them as being twins in another path, and it was like, what? I would never guess. I don't know. Oh, whoops. Wrong button. Twilight was dissolved half a year ago. How can they possibly be here now? Beats me. Revenge? Something more sinister still? We can only speculate, but it can't be anything good. Code Realize, an unthinkable genocidal Twilight initiative orchestrated in utmost secrecy, now but a footnote in history. Code Realize, Isaac's plan to forcefully advance civilization by means of casting the world into never-ending war. I think of confronting Father aboard the Flying Fortress Nautilus, the struggle for the Horologium, and by extension, my life. Yet when the Nautilus was finally dashed to pieces, so too was Father's main body, my only brother Finis, everything. What is it, Lupin? Lupin had done nothing but affectionately tousle my hair, but the unexpected gesture nearly induced a panic attack. Sorry, but this just isn't the time or place to get sentimental. I know, I'm all right. Forcing my melancholic musings aside, I surveyed the courtyard again. Sure enough, the Twilight soldiers hold their position. They're totally fake. They're dummies. I thought they would have broken into the mansion proper by now, but they seem to have some reason for staying put. Waiting for an opportune moment, perhaps? Or they did catch on to the fact that we spotted them. Might be some sort of waiting game. Either way, we can't afford to lose the upper hand. I take a deep breath, sitting beside Lupin and preparing for whatever may lie ahead. What are our options, Lupin? Whatever they're after, a gentleman thief cannot abide uninvited guests traipsing around as if they own the place. We'll catch them and we'll question them. Are you up for this? You know I am. No more words are spoken. We exchange nods and pad silently out of my bedchamber. We sprint along the length of the deserted hallway. We can only confirm 2 specific threats. Twilight may yet have reinforcements waiting in the wings, but Lupin and I should be able to dispatch a small group. Armed with intimate knowledge of the old mansion's layout, home field advantage is ours. We needn't risk a frontal assault. Run. Stop. Quiet. Lupin takes point, moving like a cat through the maze of hallways, directing me with his eyes and gestures alone. Soon after spiriting me away, Lupin took me on as an apprentice of sorts. Hand signals were one of his many invaluable skills. Hand signs, signals and gestures expressed using the hands to communicate one's intent or situation. And now, here in this dark hallway, his elaborate gestures seemed to both guide me along and pull my senses back to the fore. I doubt much of the sheer physical strength granted me by the poisoned horologium remains, but the skills and techniques Lupin and the others taught me have not lost their edge. Huh? You're giggling because why? Sorry, Lupin. It just popped out. Skulking through the halls like this, it suddenly reminded me of the old days. The old days? What's your metric for old? It's barely been half a year. Yeah, but yeah, this does feel a little nostalgic. We were reckless. Benefit of hindsight and all that. Says the most reckless of us all. You can't imagine how worried I was back then. Haha. Pot, meet kettle. I couldn't help but close my eyes for a moment and cast my memory back. My non-life in Wales was like a broken clock, hands frozen in time. I experienced more in the brief few weeks following Lupin's escape with me to London than I had during my entire time there. I felt like an automobile chugging away full tilt, scarcely a moment to breathe. If only I'd had the slightest inkling of what I'd get wrapped up in after I took your hand in mine that night. Gentleman thief extraordinaire Arsène Lupin swears on his good name. It was the greatest adventure of my life. Maybe, but it was amazing how grounded you were, how completely dependable. You never lost your cool. I'm glad you thought so. That's the whole idea. No thief worth his salt can ever appear less than in complete control. But we can only romanticize the past because it is the past. Don't forget all those razor's edge close calls. In fact, it almost feels like those few months aged me a few years. I know, it's the same for me too. We owe our current selves, who we are, to those days of adventure. Every event, good and bad, had to happen. Lost in thoughts of the past, I barely registered Lupin narrow his eyes, intent on something ahead. Dun dun dun, what is it? I don't know, but we're going to find out in the next part. So I'm going to wrap this part up here in the midst of the drama. And we'll see what happens in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.